Melody Hossaini is the founder and CEO of InspirEngage International, which has a portfolio in 100 countries reaching over 1 million people. She is a charismatic personality, world-leading speaker, skills trainer, and success coach. Her story starts as a refugee from Iran, then to Sweden, and finally to the UK. She has won many global awards in her journey. Most notably is the Woman of the Future Award and the Asian Woman of Achievement Award from Prince Charles. Now she travels the world delivering her interactive speech, How to Change the World. She is an amazing role model to millions of people and is a proud mother of a 2-year-old son. We're absolutely delighted to have Melody Hossaini with us today. She's a role model, she's an inspirational woman, she's changing the world, and she's making a difference with her company and her energy that she brings to wherever she goes. And we are very privileged to have her here today with us in our little office, in our little studio. Melody, welcome.
Thank you so much. That's very nice of you to say.
What an amazing story. Can you just take us through the first few years of your life and how you sort of shaped your early stage of your life?
Yeah, I mean, thank you first of all for having me, and thank you very much for everyone watching this. Really appreciate it. I think the first few years of my life really did shape me. I mean, I was born in Iran, so I'm actually very, very Persian, I would say. And I was born during the Iraq and Iran war, during a time where sirens used to go off and the bombs were dropping, and our neighbor's house down the road was actually bombed. And my parents kind of thought, we in search of a better life. So I grew up in Sweden. I then moved to the UK when I was 13 years old. And before we moved to England, because people ask, why did you move from Sweden to England? There was one incident. I'll just slow it down and tell you this one incident, which I will never forget. My brother and I were home, my parents were at work. I was 12 years old, my brother was like 10 and a half, 11. There's a knock at the door. My brother runs to the door, doesn't check who it is, opens the door, and there's a man who comes in and says, your shower's making a noise downstairs. He comes in, checks it, anyway, he goes behind the door just before we're about to close it and goes. He calls in a guy from behind the door who comes in with a gun and pushes my brother to the floor. At that moment, and I'm watching from the living room, you just run towards an exit. I don't know where I was going to go because we lived on the 3rd floor in an apartment. And he just comes around the other side, points the gun at me and says no. He brings me and my brother in, gags us, ties us up and throws us into a wardrobe. And he tells me, if your mum comes home while we're here, we will kill her. That experience, it's not so much that it affects me still today, although I definitely can't play, video games with guns or go paintballing and things like that. But that was the reason we moved, for a fresh start. We moved to the UK, and that was really difficult, very, very difficult, a big cultural change, left all my friends, everyone I knew, started from zero. I was really badly bullied at school, racism, just ignorance, and just the cultural difference, and just found myself really alone, having a really bad time there actually when we first got there. And the thing is that when you're going through something really difficult, you've got to find an outlet. And as human beings, we take pleasure. I mean, hormones are released in our body when we do something good, and people thank us, we feel good. And I found that going through a really difficult time in England, I needed an outlet, a positive outlet. So at the age of 13, I was reading a magazine one day. I used to sit at my desk, watch this tree out. I felt such a connection to this tree. I just had the greatest ideas and things happen when I looked at this tree, at this desk. And there was a magazine article that said, are you a young person who wants to get your voice heard? Do you want to come along to this meeting, whatever? And I was like, yes. Went along to this, and that became the start of 11 years of volunteering. And through that, I became one of the co-founders of UK Youth Parliament, which is one of the world's most successful democratic youth organizations. And on a Saturday, while my friends would kind of, go to town with their friends and chill, I used to sit in the House of Parliament and kind of talk about frameworks and strategies and, all these things, petitions, words that I didn't even know what they meant because English was my third language. And, and that was, difficult, very much out of my comfort zone, very much like, what am I doing here? But what I did understand was the bigger picture. I understood that it was about making a difference. It was about doing something bigger than me. And I wanted to do something more with my life, even then when I was 13, than just going to school and coming home. There's so much more to life than that. And that's kind of what started was my journey in the youth sector when I was 13.
With a name like Melody, you must sing.
Yes.
Do you sing well?
Years ago, yes.
What do you sing?
My dad used to be a professional singer. He used to give concerts, and I used to sing.
Is that why you call Melody?
There's a really funny story to why I'm called Melody, actually. But I've performed in Disney World, Florida, even. So yeah, singing, yeah. I do try and bring my name into life. But other than music, it's energy. Give people lots of energy.
So what is the story about your name?
So people ask me, Melody Hossaini, is that really your real name? Yeah. Yes, it's my real name. How did it come about? When I was born, after the revolution, it was actually illegal to have a name like Melody. My dad went there, they said no. My granddad went there, he's a bit more, had a bit more connections, whatever. They said, listen, you can call her whatever you want at home. You cannot have the name officially in your document, Melody. Came home. My mom was dead set to have that name. She was like, listen, I'm going to go there myself. She went to the authorities, said, I want Melody. Said, we've already explained to you, you can't listen. She said, look, what do you call this? Phone. What do you call that? Taxi. She said, if you can use these American French words in your everyday language, I will have my child called Melody. Stamp it here. So they stamped it. And that is why my name is Melody. And sometimes you just need women to do something. Women logic. So yeah.
Melody, how is the Youth Parliament structured? I'd love to have it in this part of the world.
Yeah, actually, it's really funny because when we set it up, by the way, let me just say as well, it wasn't just me. I'm not the founder. It was lots of incredible young people, the founding father, Andrew Rowan, lots of incredible people who were involved at the time in pushing to make this happen. But how it works is, just like Parliament, young people elect their representative to the Youth Parliament, and then they kind of change laws and policies and get young people's voices heard. So yeah, but that was really the start of my journey in the youth sector, in getting passionate about young people being part of solutions. Like when you talk about education, and you and I can sit there, we can have our own views on education, but we're not sitting in school going through it. So the people who are going through it should be the ones who have a say in it, and that's really what we helped create.
Something which is extremely topical in this part of the world, and actually internationally, is the issue of refugees. You lived that. And part of what I do is talk about the wonderful things that refugees do when they go to a new country, and you're a classic example. Can you share with us your thoughts and stories of the thinking of a refugee?
This refugee topic, thank you for bringing that up. I think it's such a topical, important thing we should all be talking about it, whether we refugees are passionate about know someone or not. This is one of the most pressing issues for the world right now. How do we deal with this and maintain a sense of dignity amongst these communities? So I'm so proud to have been involved with the I Am a Refugee campaign, I'm a Migrant campaign. In answer to your question, I don't think that there is an answer actually, because we'd be putting people in a box. I think it depends on where they've come from, what circumstances they're in, what country they arrive in, how that country welcomes them or doesn't welcome them. I think that all kind of contributes to that.
Part of my research has demonstrated that refugees and immigrants tend to be disproportionately successful in business, and especially in entrepreneurship. In the US, 41% of the Fortune 500 companies are run by refugees or children of refugees.
Fascinating.
And all of the companies you name, PayPal and Google, and all of these companies, Steve Jobs' father was originally from Syria. eBay, Bezos, all of these people.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to get to is, what's that secret sauce inside you? There must be something special.
You know what it is? Answer for myself anyway. When I arrived in England and I was given opportunities, I took it and I ran with it. I said yes to everything. Why? Because I looked at like young people who are my age in Iran, perhaps, where I'd come from, my cousins, who had so much intelligence, so much to give, and weren't given opportunities. So when I was given the opportunity, I said yes to everything. I mean, I remember being in year 8 at school. They like said, do you want to come and do a poster for health and hygiene? I was like, I will come at lunchtime. I was the only person in the whole school. And that I said yes to everything. And I think part of, you know, when you come from backgrounds like that, when you have struggled and you have worked really hard to get there, you appreciate opportunities and you work really hard. And here's the thing, this is in contradiction to what the world believes. People who come from backgrounds where they're not originally from there, whether they're immigrants or particularly refugees, they give back. You do give back to your communities. And I think that needs to be celebrated and understood.
And to me, when a refugee goes into another country or an immigrant moves from there, they have this sort of inner energy of, I burnt my boat, there's only one way, and that's forward. So you grab hold of everything, like you're saying, and you just create something which is so unique and so special.
You know, when you're a product of your environment, you see, and your first environment is your home, isn't it? So when I was at home and, you know, I had a single mum with 3 children, moved countries, you know, started from zero really. My mum has got 3 degrees, extremely intelligent. You know, you've met my mum. You know, owns a portfolio of properties, you know, has done very well for herself, but that's not what we came from when we moved to a new country. And I think when you see that, you work hard. So when everybody at school was like, I want the latest Nike trainers, I want the denim jacket that's on trend, that's like, you know, how much? And I never asked for that. I actually didn't. I say this denim jacket has stayed with me. I regularly talk about this. There was a denim jacket in Topshop, it was £30. And I was in year 8 or year 9, in fact, probably year 8 and 9, wanting this denim jacket. And I used to go and stand there in the shop with my friends and just look at it. And I never dared actually pick it off the hanger to just try it on because I couldn't afford it. And I remember going home mentioning it to my mom. And she said, have the £30 if you want, if you really want it, because I never asked for anything. And I didn't ask for it then. She gave me the £30. I went to the shop. I couldn't bring myself to spend the £30 because I know that every pound was important. So I took it home and gave my mum the £30. Now that stayed with me. That denim jacket stayed with me. And until I was 16 and I earned my own money. So I've been earning money and paying for my life since I was 16 years old, even through university and putting myself through everything. I paid my own way. And that's a lesson you learn when you live in a situation that I lived in. And we traveled once a year, so we had everything that mattered. My mom gave us everything that mattered, and that was a lesson to learn in itself. And what I learn now is that whether I've got the Prada handbag and the Nike shoes and the whatever, I am enough without it, because I had to fight those battles when I was young.
How can you translate the essence of your learning there to young people today?
That's a great question. Thank you. Yeah, it's a good question. So what we do is, when we go and work with young people, we do something called energy wave disruption. Tarek, you're going to love this, right? So your energy wave on a daily basis is kind of like this, yeah? There was something really, really great happens, something really bad happens, or even if you just switch off and you go away for a few days or a week or two to somewhere new, your energy wave goes up and down, okay? It's at those times when it moves and goes up and down that a window opens for an opportunity. That is when change occurs. What we try and do is create that energy wave disruption by using shock tactics within our boot camps. So InspirEngage has designed these boot camps that we deliver. And we go in and we put people in situations that they're not used to. We ask them questions that they're not used to. We watch their reactions. You learn through experiences. And I think it's at those times that you learn about yourself. If you never feel uncomfortable, you speak to your people, when was the last time you felt so nervous you could hear your blood pumping in your ear? I've had that. I've been in those situations. I'm a very confident person, but I put myself in situations where I feel a bit uncomfortable. Why? Because then I know I'm about to grow. I'm about to do something new, push myself. And I think that is what we try and instill in young people. You know, what's the greatest threat facing us? To me, it's autopilot thinking. I say this in my TEDx talk. Autopilot thinking, where people are going through life not really considering why they're doing something. You ask them, why do you do what you do? I don't know. I just
Probably a habit.
fell into it, or people are doing it, or or whatever it is. So that is another important theme for us, that drive people away from autopilot thinking.
As part of this opportunity that you created for yourself, you met some amazing people in your life, Nobel Peace Prize winners, social workers, people who are making a difference every day in their lives. Can you share your thoughts and your emotions around it and how it changed you, how it shaped you?
In 2009, I was invited to Peace Jam in Los Angeles, where Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Dalai Lama, Shirin Ebadi, these incredible Nobel laureates who've shaped our world, It was really funny because Archbishop Desmond Tutu got on stage and he said, right, 3 things you need to change the world. And we all were like, quickly get our pens and papers out, like, this man is about to tell us the 3 things. And he goes, 1, sexy legs. And then he rolled up his trousers, like stomped his foot, and everyone roared with laughter. Now, that was just an intro, and then he went into some incredible, narrative. But that teaches you that no matter who you are, how big you are, how incredibly accomplished you are, to bring yourself down and connect with people, and to be able to have humor, warmth, that should be a part of a world changer.
I was going to ask you the opposite of that. I said you've met these amazing, wonderful people, but what about those unsung heroes? What did you learn? What kind of messages and lessons did you learn from the unsung heroes?
Barclays Bank once invited us to go and do a piece of work about the financial systems and bank accounts for homeless young people. This is in the UK. I walk into this room. It was like a film where these young people, they were rowdy, fighting. I walked in, it was like I didn't know what was going on. And there's a reason why children and young people become homeless. It's very, very sad stories behind this. And this one young person, they started sharing this, they were shouting all of this. And I was like, look, I'm not even going to pretend I understand what you're going through. I can't. But what I promise you I will do is take your stories, understand them, capture them, and take them back to the people who can make a decision. I promise you that. Suddenly, they all simmered down. They were like putting their hand up, calling me miss. And what happened was they started sharing their stories. It was this young guy. He was the most rowdy when I walked in, troublemaker. And he, 17 years old, his name was Ashley, and he said, look, Melody, I'm not proud of this. I don't have anything. My life is so difficult that I carry a knife with me, and when I don't have enough bread to eat, I take out my knife, I threaten people to just get £5, £10, whatever, to be able to live. I hate the fact that I do this. And he shared all this story and we went on, whatever. Anyway, the day finished and I'm packing up my things. I thanked them, everything, we hugged. And I turn around and I see it's Ashley. He's waiting around, wanted to talk to me. I'm like, Ashley, what's up? He's like, Melody, you know those things you were talking about, the community, young people? How can I get involved and give something back? Here's a young person who, after all these years and telling this story 1,000 times, it still moves me. Here's a young person who doesn't have bread to eat, who wants to give something back. And I think that moment for me was like, that's why we should do what we do. If a young person finds it in his heart to want to give back to his community when the community has given him nothing, because this is a child, really, then this is why we should be doing what we're doing. And I have so many of these stories of these incredible women, businesses even, individuals who are changing dynamics in business, or young people that I've met who against all odds are wanting to be good and putting something, these moments, conversations, that is what changes my life.
Let me fast forward you to your 90th birthday. That's
scary. That's a very scary thought.
that's
I want to be young forever. Anyone watching this has the secret recipe. I want to be 27. Magic age.
So you'll be a young 90-year-old, and you won't be grumpy.
That's good.
That's absolutely. What will we be celebrating, Melody, on your 90th birthday? What is your vision, your longer-term vision in terms of what you're building? Because you're doing so much.
I think if I could distill it to maybe one thing, it would be kindness. kindness is not a soft thing we have to push to the side. It has no place in business. It has no place in success. It has no place. It has a place in everything. At the heart of it all, if we don't operate with kindness to people, then pack up and go home. I think disarming people with kindness is very important. There's a place in business for kindness. There's a place in business in terms of success and how, that can be valued. So if there's one thing I do that I can celebrate and blow out my 90 candles on my big, big cake, it will be that I contributed towards carving a place for kindness in business and in our communities.
But I think we're getting into the golden age for women. What are your thoughts about the golden age for women, and how do you see the next 15 years for women?
Yeah, thank you. I just a couple of weeks ago, I was speaking at Future Fest in London, and that was all about looking and predicting the future of work. So this is very much in tune with what I've just been researching and looking at. First of all, we are on the brink of the fourth industrial revolution. It is coming. We don't exactly know what it's going to look like, but here's the thing. We have major skills gaps. All the employers right now should be quite worried, because the skills are the social skills that we need, some of which you highlighted, particularly emotional intelligence, complex problem solving skills. These are the things we need to be developing right now. In answer to your question around women, this is something which I'm very passionate about. I've been championing for a number of years. I think the future is female. I do think that, women are now very influential as consumers. They are the kind of the most, the top consumers. So they're leading on that. And as we know, that does shape a lot of economy. But also, yes, they are stronger in some of these more social collaborative skills. But not only that, I have a passion in social enterprise. Just in the UK right now, when you look at CEO level in SME sector, it's 18% are female. When you look at, and that's not even FTSE 100, that's just SMEs generally. When you look at women in social enterprise, the CEO level is at almost 50%, between 40 and 50%. Now, what's happening is that the changing dynamic of business, this is really, really exciting. That now, people are going into business who aren't just about, dog eat dog kind of hard bottom line type approach. So I think that this is where women can really change the dynamic. But as a champion of women, I can't say that I believe in positive discrimination or, all of that. I think that, the time is coming and women will be shaping a lot of that. And so will young people. But I think I'm really interested in preparing for the fourth industrial revolution.
Your experience when you are advising young people and advising mothers for their children to educate their children for jobs that don't exist today, and you don't even know what they are training for, what advice do you give them in terms of how they should approach this interesting new challenge?
So, a few things. So when we go out and we work with young people and we deliver that training, we do coaching and one-to-one coaching and stuff. Now, one of the top things I would say to do is firstly figure out what you want and what you want to do and who you are. So we do something called My Passport. Now, My Passport is a tool where we get them to think about what's your story, what's your passion, what's your strength, where do you come from? We build their identity. Once you know who you are, then you'll know what you should do with it and how you should maximize your assets. So first thing is figure out who you are and what you want to do with it. Secondly, I would think do your own research. Go out there and study, self-educate. I think self-education is on the rise. You've got e-learning platforms, a lot of that. I think that's really important. Educate yourself, because formal education is not enough. There's more to it than that. And you want your education and learning to be in line with where you want to go. And thirdly, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Actually speak up. When you go, there's never going to be a situation where a flag comes and it says, Tariq, this is going to be your beautiful moment, make the most of it, You just have to be present and you have to speak up and connect with people. And I think that that's a really important thing, to be in the right place. But there is no way right now to exactly know what the future is going to look like. All you can do is develop your skills, be a good person, think about where you want to go, be conscious, and speak up and connect with people.
Could you define social entrepreneurship?
So social enterprise is, I'm an accidental social entrepreneur actually. So I never set out to become a social entrepreneur. But before I tell you the definition as InspirEngage sees it, I'll tell you a really funny story. A few years ago, I appeared on BBC's The Apprentice. So 75,000 people applied. I made history being the first social entrepreneur, even till this day, to appear on the show. Now, when you speak on the show, when you appear, a title comes up in the corner, and the producer asked me, Melody, what do you want your title to be? And I said, Melody Hossaini, social entrepreneur. And he said, Melody, you can't have that. So why can't I have that? He said, Melody, they're going to think you're an entrepreneur who likes to go out a lot, or that you're on Facebook a lot. So this is where we've come from. The world has changed a lot since then. Social enterprise has been growing rapidly. So what is it? So social enterprise is a business. It's not a charity. It's not just about doing good without that business model. It is a business. It has to be a robust business in order to exist. However, there's a social mission. So that social mission can be feeding the hungry, it could be finding young people something to do. Whatever the social mission is, sits at the heart of the business. So the business makes money in order to make a difference, basically. So it's not just about shareholders making money. It's about, the business, whether it's for profit or not for profit, make money for good. We are in a purpose economy. Now, studies show that people no longer just want to do a job for the money. Actually, statistics show that people would take a job with slightly less money if they felt that their impact was being felt. They want to be able to make a difference. This isn't just about making money anymore. The world is moving towards purpose. Purpose is a word that was rarely used really in relation to careers. We hear it now all the time. Passion is another one. People are driven by passion. So, and this is also the social era. So the reason we said social enterprise revolution, I'll call my TEDx talk that, is because we were at the time, this is a few years ago now, we are in it now, there was a social enterprise revolution happening. People were being led by purpose. People wanted to make a difference. Businesses, that social enterprise is actually nothing new. That's been around for a long time. However, the vast growth and the spotlight that's now on, are you making a difference? And not only that, but people vote with their money. We all know that, So people want to buy with narrative. If you were able to choose to buy this and it was just the price, versus buying this, the price, and then there was this is what we do with your money. For every dirham or pound or dollar that you spend with us, this is where it goes. This is our story. This is why we exist. You would spend your money on the second one, absolutely. So people now want to buy with narrative as well, and that is what the social enterprise revolution is about.
You talk about the social entrepreneurship revolution. You say the revolution is there. Can you give us more thoughts on that, please?
So we are in a purpose economy. Now, studies show that people no longer just want to do a job for the money. Actually, statistics show that people would take a job with slightly less money if they felt that their impact was being felt. They want to be able to make a difference. This isn't just about making money anymore. The world is moving towards purpose. Purpose is a word that was rarely used really in relation to careers. We hear it now all the time. Passion is another one. People are driven by passion. So, and this is also the social era. So the reason we said social enterprise revolution, I'll call my TEDx talk that, is because we were at the time, this is a few years ago now, we are in it now, there was a social enterprise revolution happening. People were being led by purpose. People wanted to make a difference. Businesses, that social enterprise is actually nothing new. That's been around for a long time. However, the vast growth and the spotlight that's now on, are you making a difference? And not only that, but people vote with their money. We all know that, So people want to buy with narrative. If you were able to choose to buy this and it was just the price, versus buying this, the price, and then there was this is what we do with your money. For every dirham or pound or dollar that you spend with us, this is where it goes. This is our story. This is why we exist. You would spend your money on the second one, absolutely. So people now want to buy with narrative as well, and that is what the social enterprise revolution is about.
Inspire and engage. What inspired you to have this particular this particular name for your company?
So, would you believe it that during the first year of setting up, it didn't actually have a name. It wasn't really a structure as such. We were so busy delivering projects, and with 11 years of experience behind me at the time when I started, I kind of just took that, and people were like, can you come and deliver this training? Can you come and work with us to deliver a new strategy for young people? And could you come and do public speaking and all these things that we did? And it just moved so quickly. But after a year, I thought, right, we need that brand identity. And I thought, InspirEngage, it isn't just about inspiring people. Inspiration is just the first step. It's like the switch, But more than that, it's about engaging with people, connecting, and that's why we called it InspirEngage, and then international, because nothing is done on its own. It's such a, we need to be working and looking at the bigger picture. So InspirEngage International came about.
There's this tectonic shift going on between the developed world to the emerging world. This is where, and we are in the emerging world, and a lot of wonderful things are happening here. A lot of innovation is happening here. How do you see this region developing in your perspective as an emerging country? And you come from an emerging country.
So I think that it's really exciting, actually, having been part of the development in this region for the past 10 years now. Having seen kind of the growth in entrepreneurs in this region at a time when people before weren't that interested, I think it's really great seeing younger people set up businesses now. I think it's really great how education is now starting to shift a bit, and it's much better. And people opening up and thinking more long term. I think that's a great thing, and there's investment now in that. I want to see more. If I'm honest with you, I think there's always more, whether you're in the UK, US, here or wherever. And that more and the magic will come from people developing their social skills, people really thinking about what kind of careers are emerging. And I'm really excited to be part of that. And I think women as well, real investment in women. With respect, I've heard people talk about in this region how women are so well respected and have opportunities through examples of men opening doors for them or standing up. And that's all great. That's nice and that's lovely, and that respect should be there. But with respect, that is not reflective of women being given real opportunity to prosper. And I'm seeing a rise in that here in terms of opportunities for women to prosper. I think that's a great thing. We're moving in the right direction. And, I've been involved with developing this region's kind of economy through the G8 summit and the Deauville partnership and things that have been happening hosted in the UK. So every time I come back here, I'm delighted to see the development, and I would welcome any opportunity for us to contribute towards skills development in young people, prosperity amongst women, and also enterprise.
Melody, it's a real privilege.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
And kindness is my little thing, so thank you.
Thank you.